Okay, so had a little issue and the camera SD card got full and I didn't realize it. I'd actually put the whole side of this engine together before I realized it. So to walk you through a little bit about what I did, I'm not going to take these back out, but I installed the cam chain, the guide, and the mount that holds the guide in. There's a bushing that goes right behind here that's inside the guide. Just make sure it doesn't fall out. And then torque these down with, as you can see, Loctite. Then I installed a brand new genuine Yamaha gasket. That's the clutch cover, or the stator cover gasket, I'm sorry. It's got two guides, one here and one there. At the very bottom, from roughly here to here, I put a thin layer underneath this gasket of Permatex gasket maker, same stuff that they use from the factory. Just because there was some imperfections in the case, it looks like maybe somebody had pried on it at one time, and we want to make sure it was sealed. Remember, this thing did come in with an oil leak. Alright, so from this point, I'm going to assemble everything, starting with the starter gear, one-way clutch gear, and the Woodruff key, flywheel key, or crankshaft key, whatever you want to call it. Just make sure when you install it, give it a little tap. I don't know if you can see it, but right, let me find my screwdriver or my dental pick. Right here, you don't want it horizontal or laying flat with this shaft right here, with the taperness of that. You want it kind of raised in the front, as you see that I have, so when the flywheel goes on, it actually will seat it the way it needs to be seated. If you do it even with this shaft and you slide the flywheel on, sometimes it'll actually try to what's the word I'm looking for? It'll try to push right out the back and slope up, get hung up, or sometimes even fall out. So, as you can see, we'll stick this on your flywheel. If you notice, I've got it at TDC, which is top dead center, because that's where it's going to need to be when you get done to get ready to put the head and everything on. I'm going to spin the one-way gear lightly, and it causes the flywheel to set in place. Don't force it, whatever you do. Turn the damn light off. Alright. Now, we'll install thrust washer. We'll make sure we put a little I've already put some on there, but I'm going to put some more. Anywhere where you have metal on metal mating surface and it's got to be torqued down, you want to have some kind of assembly lube. You know what? Probably help if I open the damn bottle. There. There we go. Just a little bit. This thing is 47 foot-pounds. So what I'm going to do to get me started, 17 millimeter by the way. There we go, 47. I'm going to lay the motor up right like so. Pulling my mat over back there. Take a wedge, a Teflon wedge, put it right there. Perfect. Impact 49.6. It's a hair over, but it probably needs it. Now, get a Teflon wedge out there. Get one. Make sure the timing chain stays on the sprocket. Alright, we got this in place. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all. The first thing I put in after I got this to the side was the counterbalance shaft. Just slide it in place. You might have to adjust the crankshaft and the counterbalance shaft to make it fall all the way through, but make sure you use some assembly lube on that as well. We're going to take starter gear. It's got a bearing. That's just a transfer gear. And it goes flat. It actually matches up to the one-way bearing gear. And then this is a secondary starter clutch, I believe. That's what they call it. Alright, so that's all there. Now, gaskets in place, flywheel. Let's put the stator cover on. You can see it's clean. It's got the stator. I didn't remove it, so it's still torqued and Loctite in place. You gotta be careful when you're installing this. It's gonna try to suck on there by itself. See, it looks like that. So you want to make sure it's straight so you don't cause any damage. There. Now you'll install the screws like I talked about before. They're going to stick out the side cover about 1/2 inch on this one. But you'll know when you get done because I'll be even. See? Then this is actually not a screw hole. It looks like one, but it's not. Now I'll take this gasket, new Yamaha, voila. Appears to just be one guide right there, and this cover. Take that, put it there. And you got these screws, bolts, not screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I believe that's it. I have 8mm. We're just going to run these down. And it sounds like it, but I'm really not applying a lot of power to this. It is a lot faster. So it's just barely tightening them up. There. Now, these, I think we need the 17 packed up gaskets. I believe the torque specs on that one. Generator rotor coil bolts, 7.2 foot-pounds. I'm gonna put it on 7. I'll go over a little bit over every time any damn way, it seems like. Alright. I'm not gonna 7.3. 7. There you go. Y'all don't want to sit here and watch me do this. I'm just going to try to speed through it. Them two I need to loosen up and redo. Voila. Okay, come on. There. Now, just out of habit, I like to double check. Works for me.